Hello and welcome to our fourth session, and we are now going to build the basic layout of our website. To start with, now I have already launched Visual Studio Code, and in Visual Studio Code I come over here and I am going to type the command npm run dev, and this is going to run the application, and this is the link localhost 5173. With control click, when I click on this, the website, you can see the website has been launched here. So now as we work to see what the development is going on, I will keep this website on the left hand side like this, and Visual Studio Code I will just resize it and place it next to it like this. So let us have both this together to see the updates that is happening in the screen as we make the changes. Right now index.js is open. I will close it. We are going to start by working on the file app.jsx. So if you come to this in Satvik 3D profile, you have a folder called source. If I open this, here you have one app.jsx file. Click on it and our work starts from here. Now we are going to start with the router. See, what is a router means? See, in our previous HTML, we used to actually link one image or text to some other file using the anchor tag. We were making use of the anchor tag. Whereas in React, we follow a process called routing, or we call this as routers. So this routing action is carried out in React. So for this, I have to first import this BrowserRouter. So what I will do is, in the app.jsx file, the very first file I require here is, I will move this little down, and in the first line I am going to start with the command import, and what we are going to import it in open close flower bracket. I am going to type the name BrowserRouter. You can see already it is highlighted here. I will select this, and automatically it gives me the hint from React Router DOM. It already shows me, and I am going to end it with semicolon. So we are going, React Router DOM is what we had installed as a package, and from this package we are importing this BrowserRouter. We have to import all the components that we are going to use in our website. And you might remember that in our previous session, in this src folder, we created a component folder, and in this component folder we had created this index.js, and in this index.js you can see the list of all the items we had created. Okay, see, we have all this JSX file like about, contact, experience, and all these are imported into this index.js, and later on it is exported out. Now what we are now going to do is, I will come back to app.js, and below this, the second line I am going to type is, I am now going to import in open close flower bracket. I am now going to call all these components present in index.js. So for example, say, to make this easy, I will just tap this index.js to the right here, so that they are next to each other like this. Okay, I will keep it like this, and I will reduce this website size a little like this. So here you have all the components. So you have all these exports in index.js. What I will now do is, I select all this content, I will right click and I will copy it, and I will come into this import statement over here. See, I will come to this import statement here. I will slightly make this longer, and I am going to paste it here. And once I paste it, I am now going to press enter and move it all in one line. Navbar, I need it. Then I am going to import about. Okay, then I am going to import tech. Then I am going to import experience, and I am going to import, this works I am not going to import, or works I will import it. Then this feedback also, okay, fine, I will import it. So right now I will close this index.js so that we have some space. Then contacts also I will import this. Then you have this earth canvas. Earth canvas, I doesn't need it in this file. So I am not going to import earth canvas. And also I also doesn't need ball canvas. That also I will delete it off. And you have computer canvas, that is also not required. I will remove these three files and then I will have star canvas. From which file? In the same folder, that is in the same folder in which you have this app.jsx. This is called as relative path. To come to the same folder, what we type is a period and forward slash. This means, and I have to type this in that is I have to use this inverted comma, and using the inverted comma in between that I will type period and colon, and automatically it shows me all the available folders here. I am going to select component. So all this will be imported from the folder components, and then I am going to end this file with a colon. In the source, we created a folder called components, and in that folder components, we have actually, if you come here, you can see we have collected all, created all these as individual JavaScript files, JSX files. And then we have created one main index.jsx, and we have called all these files. See, we have imported all the paths here, you can see here. And after we have imported all these things, then in the export, we have exported all this from this index.js, and whatever we have exported here, we are importing it back into our app.js. So this is how the React structure is going to work. I will save this app.js file, and when we see here, the problem why we are getting this error is, see what has happened is when we copied this component folder, see inside component there is one more folder here. See, these are the problems that we have to resolve. It is saying that the file does not exist. The reason why it is saying that is, if you come back to your Explorer, I will open this file in the Explorer, and in the Explorer I will come to the folder where you have this file Satvik 3D profile, and in this if you come to src, you have component. The problem is this is present inside in another components folder. That's why we are getting the error. Now what I have to do is, I will open this, I will select all these files, I will cut this and put it back in the root of this components folder, and then I will select this components and delete it off. And now if I come back here, see now you can see the error has disappeared. You are now not getting any error here. It was not placed in the root of the components folder. When we unzipped it, it had created another folder called components. So that's why we had the issue. So that's why if you keep previewing your site here, as soon as you see an error, it will highlight in this. So now we are seeing the error, we have solved it. Now what I will do is, I will press Ctrl C, and then I will close this browser. Again I will run this. Whenever you have an error, I can continue as it is, but to avoid the confusion, I will again press npm run dev. I will again press Ctrl and click on this entry, and now you are seeing it. This, and as of now you are not seeing any error. So for to see the errors correctly, I will also enable inspect here, and I say if you click on this three dots here, you have dock facility here. You have undock, you have dock to left, you have dock to bottom. I will choose the option dock to bottom, so that our console window here is to the bottom, so that in console window we can keep checking whether we have any issue here. So the thing is we can see here, and we have the website here. I have kept both of this open here, and we are doing the coding here. So now let us start doing the layout. Now the entire layout will be presented inside this app function. What it is going to return, I am going to now select this, and I am going to delete this entire content and then call the browser router that I have already imported here. And inside this browser router, we will have all our content. Inside this browser router, my content, see, if I save this, I will save this file, and as soon as I save it, you can see my entire screen turned blank because I have removed all the content here. So every time I save the file, you can see the update in this browser. So now in this browser router, I will press enter, and I am going to create one div, and I am going to close this div. Now here, every time instead of saving it here and checking it here, I can enable a feature in this Visual Studio Code, which is called as save on focus. For this, you come to file, you come to in file preferences, you have preferences, you come to settings, and in settings you have the first one, file auto save, and it is right now off. I am going to enable this on focus change, and when I click on focus change, when I enable this and I close this setting, now you can see in the file auto save will be on. Now whenever I change the focus, the file automatically gets on. For example, I have added the div here, I will press enter, I have made a change, and as soon as I click somewhere, or as soon as I click somewhere here, see, the file automatically got saved. Div, and now in this div, I am going to call some classes. So these classes are the CSS file that we have defined, and these classes that I am going to use is going to come from Tailwind CSS. We had installed this Tailwind app, and now for this Tailwind to work with Visual Studio Code correctly, so that when I am typing, it calls the correct class, because if I make any spelling error, it won't we won't see the effect at all. So for this reason, say I will come to extensions here, and in the search bar here, I am going to type Tailwind. And when I type Tailwind, the very first one you are seeing is Tailwind. I select this and I choose the option install. And when I click on install, see, this got installed. I have installed this software Tailwind CSS IntelliSense. And using this, what is the advantages? I will show you. I will close this now. Now I will come back here, and in the first div that I have created, here I am going to call 3 basic classes. So for this, after div, before this greater than sign, inside this that is tag, I will press space and I will type class, and automatically you can see the class name. This Visual Studio is prompting me. I will use this. So class name equals to, and I am going to call the very first class name I call is relative. Prompt me. See, it will show me the prompt like this, so that I doesn't make any spelling mistakes. So to avoid this spelling mistake, I am using this Tailwind CSS. So I will come back to this Explorer now, and here as I type vi type, you get relative. Then I have added it. Then I press space. The second class I am going to call is, I will set this z index to 0. Okay, so that it is the background. Then I will press space and I am going to call bg primary. So I am going to call this bg primary. And once I have added this, now I am going to save this. Control S, or if you just change the focus, it automatically saves, and nothing has changed as of now. And inside this div, I am going to create one more div now. I will press enter now, and I am going to create one more div, and as I type the greater than sign, you see the div is closed, and in between I press enter, and in between this, before I add something here, for the second div, I am going to add few more classes here. I am calling it from Tailwind CSS, and I am now going to call a class called bg So say if I just type from here bg, okay, hero pattern, you can see, okay, it prompts me. I will select this, then I will press space. I am going to call another class bg cover, it prompts me. Then I am going to call another class bg no repeat, and then I am going to call bg center. So I have called 4 classes here: bg hero pattern, bg cover, bg no repeat, and bg center. And after this, between this div, I am now going to call my first 2 components. The first 2 components that I am going to use is, I will press enter, I will open, that is call this tag called as nav bar. See, this nav bar exists in React.jsx. Okay, so I will choose this nav bar and I will just press, this is a self-closing tab. So I will press / and close this tab. So this is a self-closing tab, and similarly I will call one more class here which is called as, I will again start with lesser than sign. Another class is hero, and this hero is also coming from React.jsx. I will select this and I will just press / and close it. So this navbar and hero are the 2 classes that we are getting. I will remove this space. Now after we added this navbar and hero inside this one div, I am going to come out of this div, and then we are going to call all the sections present here one by one. You can see here navbar and hero, we have taken it from the component. We have already added it. The next one I am going to now add is, I am going to first call this about section. See, about section, I am getting all this from where I am getting? From the components that we have imported here. See, the automatically you can see it gets brightened up as I use here. So I am using about, and in my website, first I will have a navigation bar, then a hero, that is the main image where we are going to place the 3D image. Below that I will have an about section which says about the student or about me, and then after that the next section I want is, I want to tell about my experience. I will add this experience tag. So this will be the next one, and after experience I am going to add the text section where we are again / and greater than sign. So this text section is going to highlight all the technologies that I know. Then below that I am going to add the work section where I am going to now highlight all the projects that I have done, again / and close this. And after this I am going to finally again lesser than sign, then I will select this feedbacks. We are going to take the feedback. So these are the main sections that we are going to use. Now the next section I am going to call it inside a div. We are going to create a separate div or section for this. So for this, lesser than sign, type div, and if you type greater than sign or if you type greater than sign, immediately the closing tag is added. I will press enter, and in between this, and also I am going to call some classes. Even in this case I will call the classes, and in this case the classes that I am going to call are, again I will use this relative, and after relative I am going to set z0 because this is a background. In this class I am going to create some stars, and for that I am going to use this div, and inside this I am now going to call the component contact that we have imported from component. I will add / and close it, and then I am also going to call star canvas. I will call this canvas also, and I will open and close it. So these are the components that I am calling it inside the second div. So these are all, this is the rough layout. and as soon as I go to file and save it, if there is no error, you see all the name of these components appearing over here. So this is our structure. So as you are building, just use your common sense and keep understanding what is happening. See, what we are doing is, we are not dumping all our content in one page. We are dividing every section. For example, navbar is divided as a segment and we have kept it in a folder called components folder. Hero is in another section, about is in another section, experience is in another section, tech another file. So we are exporting all of them from component and importing here, and we have just arranged it. We have just placed the order in which we are going to see. So you are seeing the order on my left hand side. So this is the order we are going to create, and our layout is ready. And now let us start to build this component one by one from our next session. So with this, I will come back here, come to file and choose save.